chance. Field, yeah. Stuff.
Whoa. Nice.
Cha canceled. A real keeper.
That's one for you
That's
too.
not easy to do.
Happy to pass the ball, but remaining patient.
Nice. Just ran him over.
Not enough care on the ball. Do they mean business on this occasion? Did well to push it past their opponents. To jump in front.
Woohoo! That was dirty.
Good play, guys.
Possession lost. Could play it in.
Oh, that was nasty. Let's go.
Just 1 minute of stoppage time, say the officials. Tension building, still level. Take the lead here.
Dirty. Let's go.
I was crossing that, my bad.
Oh, whoa. What was that?
Moving it
Oh.
nicely.
Bang it. Oh, that was nasty little sequence right there.
Too much sauce.
Oh my god. Yo, what's up guys? This is Lesky, back to another player build for FIFA 22 Pro Clubs. Today we're going to be looking at this box-to-box center mid build. It's going to be an updated version of the original video I posted on my channel, which was months back towards the beginning of the FIFA cycle, where I believe I was level 18. So if you're close to that level, don't have max skill points, you might want to check that build out first. And then once you get to max level or get close to having those max skill points, you can come back to this video and check out the updated version of that build. So for the height of this build, I decided to go for 6 foot. I like going 6 foot for a couple of reasons. It gives us some strength to make us more of a physical midfielder, upgrades the strength when you go a little bit taller. And also when you go taller, you have more finishing on the shooting page, which is important for a box-to-box build. We're going to be trying to get some goals, getting in the box, helping out in offense, and trying to finish your chances. So that's why I decided to go for 6 foot. And then when it comes to the weight, I chose to go 198 pounds. And in that original video, I believe I was listed at 174 pounds. And when you go up in weight a bit, you gain strength, kind of like the height, but you also gain more shot power when you go up in weight. And this will just, again, kind of like with the finishing on the height, it'll make us deadlier in front of the goal. But honestly, when it comes to the height and weight, you can switch it up a bit. It is preference. I do have a lot of center mid builds on my channel. So if this like height and weight doesn't really suit you, you can go ahead and check those builds out. But if you were to change the height and you wanted to lower it a bit, I wouldn't go any lower than 5'10" for this build, because the way we have the skill points allocated on the skill tree, we're trying to focus on having some physical ability. And the 5'10" will still be able to maintain that. But if you go any lower, you'll kind of get weaker. So keep in mind, if you go 5'10", you'll gain some pace, but you will lose some finishing ability and some strength. And then you can go taller for that extra finishing and more strength if you'd like. And then the weight, you can switch it up. Like you could go 174 like what I originally had on that first video, or you can go lower in weight too. Just keep in mind you'll lose some strength and then some shot power. I just think 6 foot 198 is the best balance for what I'm trying to achieve for this build. And then preferred foot is righty. That's up to you guys. Let's take a look at the perk page now. For the first perk of this box-to-box build, I had to go for tireless runner. I believe we have like a decent like 85 stamina around there on the skill tree. But as a box-to-box build, you're going to be helping out on offense, helping out on defense. As the name says, box-to-box, you're going to be basically covering up the whole field and helping out on both sides of the ball. So the tireless runner is necessary. Once that 75th minute hits, the second win trait will kick in and give you a boost of stamina, which on top of that, we already have a pretty decent stamina, but this will just allow you to not have to worry too much about your stamina and just be able to cover the field the entire game and just annoy the other team. And then the second perk, I went for physical strength. And like I said, I wanted to go for some physical ability on this build, be able to body people, bully people, control the midfield. And physical strength will help us do that, increase the strength even more. It'll also increase the jumping, which center mids, their base stats do not have very good jumping, so that's kind of nice. And it'll also give us some extra ball control. So these two are definitely the perks that you need to keep on for this build, in my opinion. This third perk you can switch out. It's kind of preference, but I decided to go for threaded pass. I like to hit those through balls over the top, not even or on the ground. Just through balls are very good in pro clubs, especially if you have some pacier players up top. And the threaded pass is so nice because it upgrades your vision and it gives you that 5-star weak foot, so you don't have to worry about what foot you're hitting those through balls with. We have a 4-star weak foot on this build, so if you hit it with your weak foot, you'll have that 5-star weak foot. Don't have to worry about that. It'll give you the flare trait so you can do like fancy passes, fancy flicks with through balls. And then it'll also give the swerve trait, which is so nice, adds bend and curve to your passes, tries to curl around the defender, avoid defenders, and lead your striker or whoever's running onto the through ball perfectly so they can finish off that chance. So I'm a huge fan of threaded pass. But if you don't really use the through balls that much, or your team doesn't really like to hit the ball over the top a lot, you like to play shorter passes and just play to feet, then maybe precision pass will be the better option. You could also go, like if you don't want any of the passing perks, you can maybe go like skilled dribbler to increase the dribbling more, or if you want to be lethal from outside the box, because as a center mid, you're running up the field, you might get the ball outside the box quite a bit, and then you can bang a shot. We have pretty good long shots already on this build, but this will just increase the shooting even more with that 5-star weak foot, those 2 traits that it gives you, and then it'll increase your long shots and your power from outside the box, which is quite nice. And then the other perk that I did try is assist streak. Once you get an assist, all your passing attributes will be increased and it will grant you that swerve pass trait. And this is actually very good once you actually get it active. The problem is you got to get an assist first to get it activated. So if you can't really get that first assist, it's kind of a waste. And then the last one I would suggest is ball winner. We didn't go for any upgrades on the defensive page, more focused on upgrading the shooting. I know this is a box-to-box build. It would be nice to upgrade the defending, but the base stats for center mid really aren't too bad to start with. But the ball winner will just increase your stand tackles and your slide tackles more than what we have, and it'll make you a little bit more dominant on defense if you want to help out on the defensive side of things more. So that's another good option if you don't want this threaded pass perk. So these are the perks that I preferred when using this build. Well, let's take a look at the skill tree now. Starting with the physical page, like I mentioned, I wanted to focus on the physical ability with this build. As a 6 foot, 198 pound center mid, having that big body type, we want to upgrade this strength as much as possible. So what I did was went all the way down to this bull archetype, and you'll get +3 stamina, +13 strength, and +5 aggression for all this stuff right here for 16 skill points. And then on the right, I went for this +5 reactions for 3 skill points to get our reactions over 90 to get it to 93, which is actually very good for a center mid. A lot of things can happen that will trigger reactions, like when jumping over slide tackles, reacting to loose balls, 50-50 challenges, shoulder challenges. Your guy will react to the ball fastest, and then having that high reactions just makes your player feel more responsive in certain situations. I just think reactions is one of the most important attributes for pretty much any position, especially as a center mid build where you're going to be everywhere and doing everything on the field. So I really like high reactions. And then the bull archetype only gets us to 76 strength. This is the max we can get as a 6 foot, 198 pound center mid, which is honestly kind of sad because you only have 63 strength to start with. And it'll bump it up to 76, which isn't terrible. We do have the physical strength perk on, which will probably upgrade it to like maybe like 85, mid 80s, somewhere around there when it comes to strength. So you can body people, bully people around. And then on the top right, this was just more stamina. So we actually have 86 stamina with all this stuff right here. And I think that's another bonus of being a taller center mid. The taller you go, the more stamina you get, which is pretty cool. And then this is just more reactions to get us over 90. We have +4 reactions for 2 skill points, which is really good value. You might as well get it, and that's what gets us to the 93 reactions. This is the physical page. Let's move on to defending. As I mentioned, I did not go for any upgrades on the defensive page. I wish it was possible, but trying to go for some upgrades on the shooting, getting the weak foot, getting that pace, having some decent dribbling, and upgrading that physical ability, we had to sacrifice the defensive page. But like I said, if you want to upgrade the defending more, go for that ball winner to increase the stand tackling and slide tackling. But looking at the stats, they're really not bad to start off with. We have 73 interceptions. They're not amazing. Like, they're not going to be as good as like a wing back or a CDM. But that's really not what you're going to be focusing on with this box-to-box build. 73 interceptions, 69 defensive awareness, 75 stand tackle, and 64 slide tackle. honestly, if they gave us some more skill points to work with, I would probably upgrade the defending a bit, like maybe the defensive awareness, interceptions, getting some extra stand tackle, because it actually is pretty good value. For only 1 skill point, you get +2 interceptions, and then right here, you get +2 stand tackle for 1 skill point, and then you can get some defensive awareness upgrades right here, which is pretty nice, but I really just did not think it was necessary for this build. So that's pretty much it for the defensive page, but with the physical ability and then having decent defensive stats, you can definitely make a lot of tackles with this build. It's really not a problem on the defensive side. Onto the dribbling page. And for some of y'all that have watched a lot of my builds, y'all know I love 5-star skills, so y'all might be surprised that I don't have the 5-star skills on this build. I decided not to do it. It's not the most important thing for a center mid, so I decided to take it off and just go for the 4-star skills. Maybe some of y'all don't want 4-star skills, you're fine with the 3-star, then feel free to take it off, upgrade the balance maybe, put some on defending, and then you can possibly upgrade the passing or shooting once we get there too. So you can use those 5 skill points really wherever you want if you don't want to go for 4-star skills. But I at least wanted to go for 4-star, especially if we're going to be attacking a bit as a box-to-box build. It's kind of nice to use those in the midfield. So what you're going to do here, the ball control and dribbling is pretty low to start with. That's one of the downsides being a taller center mid. So what I decided to do is just upgrade the ball control and dribbling, get the skill moves right here. This will get us a little bit of balance also. And then we just got this ball control right here to get us to 86 dribbling and 86 ball control, which isn't amazing, but we kind of just have to settle for that. And then on the right, I wanted to go for the Lynx archetype over the Maestro. Like, you could go for Maestro if you want, if you prefer the actual ball control and dribbling over the agility and balance, but I do think agility and balance is more important in FIFA, just probably for every single position. So that's what I went for. And then we get 87 agility and 80 balance for a 6-foot center mid. If you were like a 5'4" center mid with 198 pounds on the build, I believe you would have like the exact same agility. The only difference would be you would have a little bit more balance. So it's pretty cool that as a 6-foot center mid, we still have 87 agility. So the dribbling is actually quite nice. And that's pretty much it for this dribbling page. Pretty simple. Got the 4-star skills, and then we went all the way down to the Lynx archetype and have 80 balance and 87 agility. Let's take a look at passing now. So we had to sacrifice some skill points on the passing page, so we didn't go for much upgrades. The only thing we have is 1 skill point for +2 short pass, and this was pretty much just 1 extra skill point we had to put somewhere, and this will just even out the passing stats. The one thing that's good though is a center mid, especially a taller center mid. I think you have actually better passing stats, which is another reason to go taller. The stats are a little bit better to start with, I believe. So as a 6-foot center mid, the base stats are 82 vision, 80 crossing, 84 long pass, 81 short pass, and 80 curve. Everything is 80 or higher, which is actually very nice. And then we get this +2 short pass for 1 skill point to get us to 83 short pass, to get us a little closer to that 84. But yeah, this is the passing page. With that through ball perk though, that threaded pass perk, I believe it's what it's called, you can really hit some dimes from behind and get a lot of assists and feed your fast players up top, get them behind the defense and one-on-one with the goalie, and you really can set up your teammates quite nicely with that perk. That's honestly one of the best perks in the game. You can tell a huge difference when having that threaded pass perk on compared to not having it on when you're trying to do long through balls over the top, especially because that swerve trait kicks in and it adds a lot of bend and curve onto those passes and leads your strikers perfectly for a chance to finish and score a goal. So this is the passing page. On to shooting. So what I decided to do here on the right side, I went for this 4-star weak foot right here, and then I made sure to get the shot power and long shots all right here to get us to 92 long shots, which is actually pretty good. And this right here is just upgrades in finishing and volleys to get us to 78 finishing, 80 shot power, 92 long shots, and 86 volleys. It's not possible to go for the finisher archetype on this build. I think one center mid build that I did have the finisher archetype on is the Yaya Toure build. It's like a 6'2 center mid build. I believe it's actually 198 pounds too, and we have the finisher archetype, and I believe we have like 84 finishing on that build. So check that one out if you want to have even more shooting ability on a center mid build. That's actually a pretty fun one to use. But I decided to not do that for this build, just settle for the 78 finishing. And then on the left side, to get us to 80 shot power, I went for this 3 skill points for +5 free kick accuracy and 80 plus 3 shot power to get us to 80 shot power, and then 88 free kick accuracy. Let me make sure I get this 4-star weak foot. But looking at the stats, they're really not too bad. The long shots are good. If you want to put the distance shooter on, it'll boost the shot power and long shots even more when you're taking shots from outside the box, make you even more deadly. 86 volleys is nice. The one thing that's kind of low is that 78 finishing. But remember, like I said, if we were even shorter with this build, I believe if we were like 5'10", it would be like 77 finishing. Go even shorter, it would lower even more. If you go 6'2", I think it would give you 79 finishing. If you go 6'4", you have like 80 finishing. So you get like +1 finishing like every time you go up a height section, which is kind of cool. And 78 finishing isn't terrible. Like, you're gonna have some scoring chances, but you're not gonna have as much scoring chances as if you were like a cam or like a striker. So it's not crazy important that we don't have insane finishing. I feel like 78 finishing is good enough to finish off most of your chances. This is the shooting page. Let's take a look at pace, which is the last one. And I decided to go for the max pace, which will give us 86 acceleration and 89 sprint speed. When you go up in weight, you don't actually lose the overall pace. The only thing that you lose is acceleration, but you gain sprint speed. So with the max pace of a 198-pound center mid, we get 86 acceleration and 89 sprint speed. We have more sprint speed than acceleration. I do prefer acceleration for most positions and builds, but thinking about it, like as a box-to-box center mid, you're going to be sprinting a lot to get up and down the field. So honestly, sprint speed might be more important just to cover the field faster. You might be utilizing the sprint speed more than you are the acceleration. So it's really not that bad that we have more sprint speed than acceleration on this build. But that will wrap it up for this box-to-box center mid build. In my opinion, one of the best box-to-box, well-rounded center mid builds that you can make in all of pro clubs. Let me know in the comments if you give this build a try. I'd love to hear that. Hit that like button on this video for me, and then hit that subscribe button on my channel if you haven't already subscribed. Thank you guys for watching. Y'all have a great rest of y'all's day, and peace out.